The Boys season 3. Let's discuss. Alan, you said you tried to watch the first season of The Boys.
Well, I made it through the first season of The Boys. I I'm very different than I think a lot of people in the chat is. I get fairly squeamish about these things, and I got through the half of first season, never watched the second one. It's all back. It gets pretty gruesome at times. I think we're not at spoilers yet, but I did enjoy it, and I think once you get beyond the gruesomeness, there's some good themes going on, and I think that's what The Boys is about. The whole idea of corporate superheroes. What happens when superheroes become tainted in a way with the fame and with the money and the and so that just continues. And I think it takes it unlike Kenobi, this one sets everything off in the right direction, and you have a good sense of where this show is going to go, and I'm definitely on board. I do want to see the rest of season 3.
Well, let me start off with, you can't even compare this to Kenobi. I think Kenobi is, I'm seeing friends of mine that are stalwart sequel defenders that do not like Kenobi. And we're going to talk about Kenobi episode 4 next Wednesday afternoon. We're going to start at an earlier time next week so that I can go see a movie. But basically, it's no comparison. I think Obi-Wan is I think it's a colossal disappointment. I think it's amateurish. I think story-wise, it's a disaster. You can't even compare season 3 of The Boys to Kenobi. We'll discuss Kenobi and kind of how the last 3 episodes play out. I mean, we're already like halfway through the Kenobi, and it's just like people are like this. And the fact that they're, hiding behind a so-called racist fan base as a way to inoculate any criticism of the show is very telling. And my only
comparison, the only reason I compare it is in the sense of this is how you write a television series. This is how you go episode to episode.
Yeah, this is good writing, but let's talk about it. So season 1 of The Boys really built the world, right? We met Butcher, we met the boys, we met Hughie, played by Jack Quaid, and I fell in love with those characters. They're great. And what the show is about, what the show is essentially is about, it's about hypocrisy in Hollywood. You could even say politics also. It's about what we see that's in front of us, these glorious, amazing, virtuous superheroes, or celebrities or politicians in real life. Behind the scenes, they're all assholes. They're assholes, drug fiends, sex obsessed, and freaks, and they're horrible, horrible human beings who literally get away with murder. And the first season really built the world. I love the first season. The second season, I was not as big a fan of. The second season, for the first 4 episodes, the boys aren't even together. It takes 4 episodes to finally get the boys to kind of reunite on their mission, which we already know they're going to do at some point, right? In addition, I felt what the second season did is the second season really sort of laid criticism towards one side of the political aisle. And what I'm happy to report in season 3 of The Boys is it doesn't do that. What it does is it makes fun of everybody. It mocks the left, it mocks the right, and I love it. I feel like that's the way it should be anyways. It's like, let's mock, and there's so much to mock and make fun of, right? And let's make fun of lies and hypocrisy that we see that are right in front of us, coming from both sides of the political aisle. And the whole thing is, it just makes fun of everything. I'm not saying that the show is overtly political. I mean, politics is woven into it, but in a way that's not lecturing. It's not one side particularly. It just mocks everything, and that I love. And also, I watched more than the first 3 episodes. I actually binged, and that's why it got blurry for me, because I'm like, well, wait, which episode did that happen in? And I've only seen it once. I'm up to like about 6.5 episodes in. Let's just say everything escalates about it. Everything escalates.
Yeah.
But let's talk about episode 1 first. And I'm just going to assume we're in spoiler territory. I'm just going to assume everybody's seen it, right? So we have a little, this is your spoiler warning right here. We're going to get into spoilers for at least the first 3 episodes. And I'll give you a tease of some of the things that happen in upcoming episodes. I'm just telling you that my general impression is I believe that they looked at reaction to season 2, which was mixed, especially coming off of the fact that season 1's reaction was wildly positive. And by the way, I am a fan of the show. I love this show so much so that it was a couple years ago they did this pop-up in Los Angeles. What's a pop-up? A pop-up is an activation where what they do is it's for anybody. You can register online. They've done them for a bunch of different movies, and it's basically a way to kind of sell you the movie and give you free stuff, and anybody can sign up. You kind of go on and what they're hoping is that you'll post about it on social media. I don't remember if I actually posted about it, but it was great. We got like free burgers and fries from the Planet Vought. See, check it out. It says Planet Vought, and I kept the cup, which is a plastic cup from the Planet Vought burgers that we got. And Planet Vought is sort of like Planet Hollywood. And then we all got these magazines. It was Vought Weekly, and it's basically like a variety. And so, of course, you've got Homelander there and Butcher on this side. And it's like a fake magazine from the universe of the boys. And it's awesome. So this was the menu that we got. And again, this was just like something open to the public that anybody could do. And I was like, we gotta go. And went with a couple. I went with Dante and Walter Arias from Film.
That was pre-pandemic, wasn't it?
No, I think it was in the middle of it. If I
okay.
remember, was it pre?
When we opened just for a moment.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like remember that 2 weeks? That was awesome. Sort of reminds me of the a few weeks where Elon Musk, like it looked like he was going to buy Twitter, and it like I don't even know now. It just seems like it's just completely up in the air. But there was a moment where people felt free to kind of like speak their mind on Twitter. That was a great 2 weeks, everybody. That was awesome. That was an awesome 2 weeks. Who knows what's happening with that? I'm not going to dwell on it. But let's talk about the first episode. What I loved about it was it sort of mocked everything in the superhero genre, including Zack Snyder's a dawn of the whole Zack Snyderverse, the Snyderverse campaign to get his Snyder cut out. Right in the beginning, right? There's a movie that's like, what's the name of the movie? It's like
something the Seven.
Dawn of the Seven or something.
And am I going nuts? But this is an actual movie coming out, isn't it? Or I been fooled? It's
the fake movie within the movie where the characters actually play themselves in the movie. They even talk about doing reshoots. It's like totally opens with like it, and it looks even in color wise the way it opens in this sort of apocalyptic view of a city, and then you see the heroes kind of facing off. And it's totally a comment on the Snyderverse. It's great. And it's great. It nails it, talks about fandom. And then of course we get into this after party where Termite, which is basically Ant-Man, but they call him Termite, does the Ant-Man, there was this theory of like, why doesn't Ant-Man just kill Thanos by going up Thanos's butt and then just growing and killing Thanos? And they did it in this.
Yeah, it worked. It would have worked.
It would have worked. We see Termite go up. He's about to be intimate with some dude because all these superheroes are freaks, right? They're just into whatever, illicit sex. And Termite goes up this guy's ass and then kind of sneezes and then just grows and murders him. And it's like no big deal.
Yeah. I like the fight afterwards where they're trying to keep him from going up other butts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. It's just, I mean, and like the thing is I'm actually squeamish when it comes to a lot of gore. I am, except when it comes to the boys, the gore is so over the top and so like cartoonish and ridiculous that it's funny, and I don't know, I'm not as turned off by the gore.
But it's yeah, I mean, it is graphic. That I mean, it's you. I just the problem is it just that image just stays with you for days, if not weeks and months.
Yes, it does, and I love it. But then we get into God, was it episode 2? So we'll just sort of talk through this stuff briefly. I love it because you see like sort of like last season, except they did it for too long. The boys are kind of all gone their separate ways, right? You know, and there's sort of this detente between Butcher and Homelander, and you know, Hughie is working at this. You know, they're like, you know, who watches the Watchmen? Well, this bureau watches them, right? And what I do like is that they just got the boys back together quicker. You know, within the first 3 episodes. I think it's like by episode 3, they're kind of like, we got to get back together, because doing this the right way isn't working. You know, there's just too much red tape, too much BS. But what I also loved I wrote this note, episode 2. And this is where I'm really glad that the show did this. You see like this scene that takes place at Inclusive Kingdom, which totally makes fun. There's like rainbows everywhere, and kids are effectively being like, you know, indoctrinated into all this stuff. You see, there's like, you can get BLM, BLTs. There was like, I mean, it was just like, it was hysterical. Like just sort of making fun of like how there'll be some sort of cause and it's immediately co-opted and corporatized. And that's also what The Boys is about. It's not just about Hollywood culture and what hypocrisy there is based on what we see in front of our eyes about who celebrities are or who politicians are. Behind the scenes, they're horrible human beings. And I would say that's probably true in real life. It's probably true in real life that these people are all horrible human beings and need to be exposed. And that's what The Boys is about. That's what the boys are attempting to do, is expose the lies, the hypocrisy, the fact that these people are horrible murderers getting away with all of this stuff. And this Inclusive Kingdom thing is so funny. It just like, I don't know, it just struck me as like, yes, this is what season 2 needed more of, is more like just mock everybody.
Yeah, more of a balance.
And then also it's about corporate culture too, because you see it's so funny. Ashley, who's like, you know, works directly with Homelander, and she's moving up the corporate ranks at Vought. You know, Ashley gets an assistant named Ashley, which sounds totally like something like that would happen in Hollywood. Like Ashley's assistant is named Ashley, which I found really hilarious. And I love that like there's the big thread through this whole thing is a character named Soulja Boy. And it kind of, because I watched like the first 6.5 episodes, it might have blurred to me.
Yeah, you are blurring things.
But Soulja Boy is effectively like Captain America, right? And he's thought dead. Okay. And I'll give you a little tease, and it shouldn't surprise anybody. He's not dead. He's been on ice, so to speak, for quite some time. But when he finally, his character comes back, this is just all I'll say about future episodes. So this is spoilery for future stuff. When he comes back, it's definitely like a Cobra Kai type of thing, where he's like from the 80s, you know, and this is how you would talk to a woman. And it is so awesome. It's so awesome because it's just a comment on how the culture is so effed up right now. So Soulja Boy being this hero from the 80s, you know, fighting in foreign wars with this sort of offshoot group, sort of, you know, sort of pre-7. He's uncouth in all the best ways that make you love this character, because he's from the 80s, you know, when things were a bit more defined, right, in terms of common sense. And so his character is it's great. I mean, he's definitely sort of got those Johnny Lawrence like vibes. But also what's interesting is you see this other thread that now the boys can have superpowers. Vought develops this serum that gives you superpowers for about 24 hours, right? Is how long you get these superpowers. And the whole intention behind it is that we're going to get rid of superheroes. Superheroes are a pain in the ass to deal with. What we want to do is super soldiers. Superheroes have screwed up the world, right? They're a pain in the ass to deal with. It's like dealing with children. And there's this whole speech about what a pain in the ass superheroes are to deal with. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they're talking about Hollywood actors. They're not really, if you look at a lot of the things that are said in the show beneath the surface, it's not about superheroes. Put the idea of this being about superheroes out of your head. It's not about superheroes. It's about the entertainment industry. It's about dealing with actors in Hollywood. It's about agents, managers, and corporate culture. It's about all that shit. The superhero is just sort of that's what's being put in front of your face, but it's all commenting on corporate culture, movie studios, and how they screw things up, and just dealing with pain in the ass actors who have drug addiction, sex addiction, and get themselves into horrible trouble, and they've constantly got to be saved. So they want to get rid of superheroes, and by coming up with this Vought, it works for 24 hours. Hey, you give a 30-day supply to a soldier that's going to go fight in some war, and then by the time you're done with the war, you don't have to worry about the soldiers still having these superpowers. They go away, they fade. And so there becomes this sort of inner corporate battle between the superheroes and the corporation about like, well, we don't really need you. We've got this new serum. And of course the boys get some of this serum to use and to kind of even the fight, which makes things really interesting. Alan, what were your sort of, I'm giving you sort of a general, I don't like to do like a complete story breakdown because I think that I just like to give you impressions of like, here are the things that I really liked about it. I will say this, I liked a lot more that I've seen so far of this season than last season, which I think went down this road where it was, I just didn't like the road that it went down. Alan, yeah. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll only add, I think the theme, at least what I saw in the first episode, I think the overarching theme of the series is about power, and how it corrupts people. Absolute power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. You have what's the name of the girl, the co-leader of the superheroes again? She's dating Hughie.
Starlight.
Yeah, Starlight. So they Starlight and Homelander are now co-captains of our hero team, and so there's now he has to share power, and then I guess let's see who. I'm sorry, I don't know the characters completely well, but A-Train
has like a really cool thing where he's like, he's sort of being told that he's kind of a sellout.
Yeah,
he's not like down with his roots, right? And wants to do this show like the A-Train to Africa, which would be like a docu-series starring A-Train. He sort of rebrands. He's going through a rebranding. So he takes his classic outfit and puts it with sort of African themed like colors. And he's just trying to, but people in the African American community are totally calling him a sellout. Like, dude, you're a sellout. Which that whole thing is really funny. Like it's just, it comments on it's commenting on so many things happening now in the culture that you can't really say, that this is sort of one side or the other. It's just making fun of everything. And I love that.
Yeah. And then with this pill now, you're giving people just a taste of what it's like to have a superpower. And I think when Karl, when Butcher finally gets, it's in the trailer. So when Butcher finally gets a hold of the pill, it'll be interesting to see how he changes or how he deals with this newfound but yet brief moment of having superpowers, having abilities.